Well, there's some new reaction from the White House this morning after the Egyptian military's ouster of President Mohamed Morsi. White House Press Secretary Jay Carney now saying that the Obama administration is not ready to call this move a coup. Here he is in the briefing yesterday. Watch.
I would say that we are going to take the time necessary to review what has taken place and to monitor efforts by Egyptian authorities to forge an inclusive and democratic way forward. I think it would not be in the best interest of the United States to immediately change our assistance programs to Egypt. We think, not just I, but we think that it would not be in the best interest of the United States to do that.
All right. Let's see what Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul thinks about this. He's on the Foreign Relations Committee and joins me now. Senator, welcome back to the program. Good to have you here this morning. What's your reaction to what Jay Carney had to say there?
Well, let me translate what Jay Carney's saying for the president. You have to translate it. What he's really saying is, I'm going to ignore the law. The law says that when a military coup happens, foreign aid should end. We're not supposed to be in favor of supporting military overthrow of democratically elected government. I'm no fan of the Muslim Brotherhood. I don't think we should have given them money either, because they occurred after a military coup as well. But if the president says this is not a coup, he's flouting the law, and he's outright saying, I will not obey the law because I am above the law. That's the problem with this president.
I mean, it's interesting. There is, as you say, a law in the books that says after a military coup, we have to withhold aid until we can determine that we're really, giving money to a process of democracy. That's the benchmark. But the administration, I would also point out, recently used that law in Mali in a somewhat similar situation in the other way. But let's go back to this, because they're saying that it is a democratic uprising that's happened in the streets, and that is what led to this, and they want to be supportive of that, so they don't want to cut the purse strings too quickly and have that backfire on the democratic effort that's going on.
Well, let's put this in American terms. 200,000 Tea Partiers showed up on the mall to protest Obamacare. Does that mean the military should replace President Obama with a Republican? Would that be okay? Would that be a military coup? It's ridiculous on the face of this to say this is not a military coup. What this is the president saying, I am above the law, and I deem it not to be proper to obey the law at this point. And that's the problem with this presidency, is he really has no concern for the rule of law.
All right, so if you were President Rand Paul and all of this was happening on your watch, you're saying that you would yank that away. You'd take that money away right now, the day that coup happened?
Absolutely. I'd obey the law. The law says no foreign aid. Here's the other thing. 70% of Egyptians don't like the law, don't like the money even coming to them. If you're on the receiving end of a truncheon or tear gas paid for with American foreign aid, do you think you're happy that we're sending money to your government that is beating people in the streets? So, no, I don't think it even buys friendship. Why do the Egyptians burn American flags and not like America? It's because they see the money we go given to their government, who imprisons them without trial, who has indefinite detention. So you can see how this isn't helping with friendship with the Egyptian people. It's buying friends in special areas or special interests within Egyptian society, but not with the people.
We give $1.6 billion in 2012. The aid numbers have fallen a little bit over the past few years, but it's the second largest amount of aid that we give to any country. Israel, of course, is the first in terms of foreign aid. And, when you look at that picture politically, Egypt and Israel are our two closest allies, notwithstanding, the recent activity on the ground in Egypt. And the long tradition of that, it's felt, must be maintained, or we could risk, giving up any influence in that region.
Well, I'm a big supporter of our alliance with Israel, and nothing should come between that. But I would say that we're also big allies with Britain, and we don't send them any money. So ultimately, the best thing that is what is in the best interest of every country is self-sufficiency. But what I've said is, why don't we start by not sending money to enemies of Israel? And I don't think Egypt is to be counted on as a great friend of Israel. I don't think the Syrian Islamic rebels are great friends of Israel. I wouldn't give them money or arms also. I don't think that it's a good idea to continue to fund the Muslim countries that are surrounding Israel.
I got to go, but I want one quick question. In terms of the president, he didn't mention this when he came out and spoke yesterday. Are you surprised that he hasn't articulated more himself on this?
He has a few scandals that he's trying to keep up with. He may not have gotten to this one yet.